Hey guys, it's Ping. Welcome to my garage, which is going to double as a studio today for @Ping. We're trying something a little bit different. We're going to do this digitally and do a recording and see if you guys like it better that way. It's a little easier to share and we'll be able to kind of change up where we do it. Same format, shoot me an email or post something in the forum. There's a column in there for that. You'll see @Ping. So let's jump into it. First question is from Woody from Pennsylvania, and he says, Ping, simple question. Would Carmichael qualify for a 450 Supercross main event if he lined up this weekend? Keep up the killer content. Woody from PA. I think that he probably would. If you give him a month, and I'll bet you that sucker could go in and qualify, no problem. The talent's still there. What you'd see with a lot of old pro guys is the skill is still there. They know what to do. If they don't have injuries that are messing them up, which Ricky doesn't. He doesn't have any physical maladies that would keep him from doing it. It's just fitness, really, and a little bit of that racecraft. But a guy who's competed at his level, well, you could have taken Ricky from last year with the spare tire and the love handles and all that, and I think he still could have qualified for a main event. He's just ridiculously talented, so I think he's capable of doing a lot of things that most other people wouldn't be. So I think that's a no-brainer. Ricky gets it done. Thanks, Woody. Appreciate the question. Next one. This is from John Davids, owner of Home Care Assistance. Says, great job on the Whiskey Throttle Show. This season is awesome. One thing, try to have Danny LaPorte back on without Brock Glover. I'm not sure what Brock will have left to talk about when you have him as the featured guest. So for those of you that missed it, we had Danny LaPorte on the show, and Brock Glover was the co-host. And Brock came on because he and Danny have grown up together. They raced kind of through the same time periods. They battled for that 77 125 national championship, which is notorious for Bob Hanna getting the let Brock by pit board. But aside from that, they both went over the GPs and raced at least a season there, different times in their career, but they have a lot of those things in common. And they're buddies. So it was a no-brainer to me to have Brock on. And if you know Brock, I love Brock. He likes to talk. He's a talker. He remembers details about things that very few people would. David Bailey's the only guy that I know who can recall, oh yeah, back in 81, we went testing and I tried this fork and I remember I went too stiffer on the rebound and it was, they'll tell you specific details of specific tracks or test days or bikes that it's insane that they remember this stuff. So yes, Brock likes to talk and he did jump in and tell a lot of the stories for Danny, but I'm telling you, I don't know that Danny would have remembered a lot of the stuff otherwise. Brock has a great memory and I thought it was good to have him there to sort of refresh some of those stories and get Danny going, even though he might have jumped in on Danny a couple times and Danny understood that he's not the kind of guy that gets upset about that. So I hear what you're saying, but I think it was great to have those two. Those two are absolute legends in this sport. And if you just stop being bitter about the fact that Brock talked a little bit and just enjoy it for what it was two friends having a good conversation about Danny's career. And though Brock did some of the talking for Danny, the story still got out, and that was the point. So anyway, thanks for watching. We do listen to your criticisms and things like that and try to improve. But that one, I wouldn't do it any different if I could change it anyway. Okay, last one. This is an interesting question. This is from, it says Lisa Wilson. That's just the email. It doesn't really have a name after it, but it says, Ping, look forward to your weekly bench racing almost as much as I used to look forward to MXCAT in the old Cycle News publication. But I must admit your column is much more informative, which leads me to ask you your thoughts on Beta. I see where they have a race team for MXGP. What do you think are the odds of seeing them line up for Supercross? What would it take for a new brand to not only show up, but also be somewhat successful? Gas did this year, but they really are not a new brand. If you were in charge of the release of the new 450 MX bike, would you even go racing nationally or create some sort of grassroots release? Old timers still loving the sport. P.S. Realize most of your readers and possibly even you have no idea what MXCAT is, but a redo in VitalMX would be cool. Yes, I do remember MXCAT. I am 46, so I'm old enough to remember that very well. Still wasn't as cool as Crash and Burn to me. That was my favorite part, but I hear what you're saying. As far as beta goes, I don't know. I've only ridden one beta my whole life. It was a 300 two-stroke. I have never ridden their four strokes. I'm hoping we get a chance to try those this year. They have a GP team, and I'm going to be watching that very closely to see how that goes. And you're right. Trying to compare beta and what they're doing, or if they were to make a foray into Supercross or National Motocross here, it's completely different than Gas. That's a proven motorcycle that's got years of Supercross and motocross racing on it, essentially, right? With different colored plastic. So I think it would be a mistake for them to just come over here and start swinging hard this year. I think they're doing it right. They're going to jump into the Grand Prix where, they're based over there in Europe. They can kind of work that stuff out, do a lot of testing, a lot of development. And if they have a bike that's competitive, then maybe you start looking outside of that series, and maybe you do something in Australia, and maybe you do something in Canada and something here, with a privateer team or something, and start testing the waters. But to jump in full throttle, you're going to just have a lot of bad results and spend a lot of money. And I don't think you're going to do beta any good, frankly, because if they come out and look crappy, that's not helping that brand. So I think they're doing the right thing. They're going to start where they're at, kind of their bread and butter, and get the bike working well in a motocross setting, and then you can start branching out and doing some other things with it. I think it's great that they're getting involved, though. Anytime we have a company come in like this, especially when we have a brand like Suzuki that's sort of pulling back, it'd be amazing to see Beta jump in and get involved at some kind of level, even if it was, like I said, a 450 support team with just a couple of, guys who are making mains at first, and see where it goes. So anyway, I'll be keeping a real close eye on it. I would say the odds of seeing them line up for Supercross in the next couple of years, not good. Not good at all. And that's probably a good idea. So we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on those GPs. Hey, send us your questions. Whether it's something ridiculous, a legit question you have, we'll answer them here. No problem. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And let's have some fun with this video thing. See ya. See you next week.